Press Here is available as a podcast on iTunes.
You are looking at something called an Omni. It's not a robot exactly. It's controlled by a human who's many miles away. It's called a telepresence device. Welcome back to Press Here. I'm Scott McGrew. The Omni is one of a number of devices that will be able to connect us to aging parents or let us attend board meetings in our pajamas. Now, the Omnis are built in Mountain View, a big stable base on wheels on that robot, a long telescopic neck, bringing the your video image, more or less to eye level to the person that you're talking to. Their creator is one of the most talented roboticists around. Tuk Fu has a PhD in computer science from Stanford, spent some time at Google as well. Thanks for being with us. You know, the first question I had for you, I think it was over email, is, well, what do you call the robot? And you said it's called the Omni. There could have been a cute name for it. Didn't you think about a cute name, like, I don't know, Stan or something?
Right. So we actually let the families or the user pick the name because everyone wants to call it differently.
I see. So the product is the Omni,
yeah.
but I can call it anything
Exactly,
I don't want.
yes.
And what do people call their robots?
They get very creative. Someone called a little Buddha even. So
he's got a little low belly.
Right.
Yeah.
because they're connecting family and giving them fun. So.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's such a, so I actually used a telepresence robot made by Beam for about 6 months. I was working between New York and San Francisco, and I would actually communicate and drive it around. I did like salary negotiations with people. Somebody told me they were pregnant over the thing. Like I had a lot of amazing conversations. I've seen you quoted as saying that in 5 years you expect that this thing will not only be able to pick up objects for people, right, but maybe wash dishes and all of this stuff. And I guess my question for you is, the math, as I understand it right now, is that even building like one arm, like a fully functional arm, is like a $100,000 object right now. So we're talking millions of dollars for something that could really, do the dishes for you and everything else. Why is it so expensive? Why is it taking so long?
Yeah, so that's a great point. So I think just a good challenge of how to control the arms, how to fit into an environment of home, make sure it's lightweight, it's safe, make sure it has enough dexterity to do tasks. And for us, we focusing on not only just making everything autonomous, but it could be a hybrid model of both human and robots working alongside to bring value to the end user.
But you expect the cost would come down on some of those components over the next 5 years,
yes.
that would actually be possible?
Right, and then the advances in deep learning, and also in additive manufacturing. Right. So all these factors are coming together.
How will artificial intelligence and that sort of thing be incorporated into your robot? Right now it doesn't have real intelligence, does it?
Right, so we have navigation, for example, for our robot. But there are plans, we're working on, for example, recognizing objects in the home and allow you to interact with those objects rather than you have to maybe use haptic device or put on a VR to really control the arm.
And to be clear, this is a robot of sorts, but it is controlled by a person on the other end, and their face appears on the tablet, or can appear on the tablet. And to somebody at home sitting at the kitchen table, it's not the same, but at least it feels kind of the same. You can join a family for dinner when you're off in business in Tokyo or whatever.
Yeah, it's become an embodiment of the family member. So for myself, I put one in my home in Vietnam, and my grandma will actually teach me how to cook over the robot. So I can just poke my nose or my camera in this case into like ingredient, pans and pots, and then she would just continue cooking and explaining things away. And so it's just incredible experience because keep in mind my grandma never had smartphone before, right? And so it just allow us to have much richer and meaningful interactions.
And I've heard it's actually saved a life. Is that true?
Yes. So we're very glad. So one of our users, he put a robot in the home with his mom, and he was traveling for work, and he called his mom, and she didn't pick up the phone because he became very, very worried.
Sure.
And so he drove the robot around. He managed to find her that she was in pain, urinary tract infection, very severe. And because he could find her, then he could talk her through, call 911, call his brother, and took her to the hospital just in time.
I guess that's the difficulty here, right? Is that there's a certain line past which you need to be able to physically reach through the robot and do a thing. Being able to speak to her and say, here's how you're going to call 911 will only get you so far, I'm sure. So for you, I guess, is it frustrating at all? Or I guess, how do you think about the tasks that you want to pursue that you can't because they can't physically interact with their surroundings yet?
Yeah, so we think of it as more like a pipeline. So we need to get into the home first, right? We need to have a very clear value proposition to the user.
Right.
That's something they can accept right away. If you tell the user, oh yeah, they're going to be able to bring tech object around, might be too weird for them,
Yeah, right.
So now it's the telepresence is a kind of like introduction.
I was going to say, yeah, you're giving this guy a hard time. I mean, he's building a robot that goes to people's houses.
I know, it's amazing. It's
in
amazing.
Vietnam.
It's one of these things. No, I'm
like
with
he doesn't
I'm
have
with
arms.
It's just one of these things where it is that thing of it's sort of, it's a security camera right now on wheels, and I think that's a very cool thing. I just see, there's these vast military programs right now to try to make a firefighting robot, or they have the DARPA Olympics, these robot Olympics, and to watch these robots, these $1 million robots, trying to do stuff that you and I take for granted is so hard.
Let me ask you about one thing the robot does do, and that it has an articulated neck.
Yes.
Partially that's so it can look around. I mean, it can look, left, right, but also up and down. But that it has sort of a human feel to it.
Exactly.
I would imagine you could only choose a few features. Why'd you choose that, and why does it feel so human to me?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in fact, we designed the robot from the ground up to fit into the home environment. And so we subtle design decision, but make a huge difference in user experience. And the articulated neck is one. And so just because, when you talk to people, when people look at things, you know that they're looking at things, right? And
oh, right.
So,
the robot moves along with you and looks down at it.
Cues that you're getting from the real interaction. And so the neck actually gives you that feeling.
Because you could have gone a lot further and made it like the robots in Japan that look almost human-like too, right?
Right,
I mean,
right.
why
But then
not
there's
do
an
that?
uncanny valley problem.
Yeah, the uncanny valley.
Well, right, and also
That's
because Took's face is on the video screen, his grandmother thinks of the robot as an embodiment of Took and not, some sort of strange robot.
Bunny.
Yes.
Right.
So what's ahead? Does the robot, do we go Jake's direction and the robot can juggle? Or does the robot does the robot get cheaper? I mean, because what are we at, about 2,000 right now?
About $13.99.
Oh, less than I thought.
Yes.
Okay. So $13.99 right now. Do you think what I really want to do is make a $600 robot, or I want to make a robot that does something more?
Yeah, so short answer is both. Right.
Right. Well,
we continue to keep the cost down and continue to add features on it. But the next thing would be the arms. So we've been working on it, and we're very excited.
All right. Well,
Took
Vu is Omni Robots. It's a good spelling, OHMNI.
Yes.
So look it up on the web. They're cool to watch. Fun videos as well. Took, thanks for being with us this morning. Up next on Press Here, if you want a new job, what happens when the recruiter is a computer? Your career decided by AI when Press Here continues.